Now, the Northern Ireland Secretary has confirmed plans to introduce a statute of limitations that would effectively end all prosecutions related to crimes committed during the Troubles. The announcement by Brandon Lewis has provoked anger among families who lost loved ones during that period, as well as political parties in Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. Mr. Lewis joins me now. Good evening. Thanks for being with us. I mean, do you want to see reconciliation in Northern Ireland?
Yes, absolutely. As I outlined in Parliament today, what we want to see is an information recovery process that gets to the information that families in too many cases have either waited too long for or not had at all, that gets to truth, and through that accountability, a wider ability for Northern Ireland to talk about this as part of the oral histories. This is all part of the principles of what was in the Stormont House Agreement, and reconciliation for wider society in Northern Ireland, so that we can start, and people in Northern Ireland can start to be looking forward whilst always being very alert to and aware of what has gone before.
Right, but doesn't reconciliation require justice? And aren't you now depriving the victims, the families, of justice?
Well, look, this is a very difficult, a complex and sensitive issue, and it's a painful reality that I'm outlining today, which is we are seeing case after case that is not just holding up the criminal justice system and preventing people from getting information, but it's also failing people. We've seen cases this year that have consistently collapsed due to the period of time. We're seeing very, very good investigative processes through Operation Canova, for example, not reaching prosecutions, but it is getting, for the families, to the truth of what happened. I think there's lessons to learn in that around what information recovery can be and how it can be done in a way that really does deliver for people. And yes, Mark, you're right. We do need to see reconciliation, and it goes more widely than just this. It's also looking at the future and looking at a society that, since the Belfast Good Friday Agreement, that looked to have integrated education going through Northern Ireland, still today only 7% of people experience integrated education. And for the long-term future, we need to look at that as part of how we reconcile for the whole wider society.
Yeah, but this goes a lot further than prosecutions. You're ending so-called legacy inquests and civil actions that families have put their faith in. 36 inquests relating to the Troubles, I think, are due to be heard. More than 1,000 civil claims lodged against, many of them, the Ministry of Defence. I mean, put yourself in their position. If you had a family, heaven forbid, a family member or members murdered in the Troubles, you would want prosecutions, wouldn't you? You would want certainly some answers.
Oh, look, absolutely. We all want to see answers. And I think we also need to recognise, Mark, there's a wide set of views around legacy and information. Some families don't want to revisit the past. We obviously need to respect that as well. But obviously there's a large number who still want information about what happened that they're not able to get to. The current system is failing everybody. And we're seeing, as many people would argue, as the Prime Minister outlined today, vexatious claims and a cycle of investigations that's not fair either on the wide range of our veterans who served and our security services who served in Northern Ireland. The vast majority not only served with honour but put their lives at risk to protect others as well. And that's where we come to this and it is a painful, difficult reality of things in Northern Ireland changed with the Belfast Good Friday Agreement. Justice changed in terms of the Sentencing Act that followed from that. We're seeing in reality a lack of prosecutions, but the criminal justice system effectively getting in the way of accountability and truth and information. We want to see a really robust, strong information recovery process, and one that is, the Parliament is often Article 2 compliant, that fulfils our international obligations to get to the truth of what happened.
Yeah, but I mean, also, you've got the families of those killed by soldiers. Certainly in West Belfast, one thinks of Ballymurphy. What would you say to Justice Keegan, who said after the inquest findings, I think it was in May, this was a war crime and people must be held to account?
Well, I agree. And one of the things we want to do is make sure that there is accountability. That's why I'm very clear about the importance of a strong information recovery process that gets to truth, information and accountability. And Ballymurphy, which I spoke about at the time, is a very good example of how families have been failed. It took 50 years for those families to get to the truth of what happened to their loved ones. It shouldn't happen that way. And that's what I mean by the current system is failing everybody. And we need to find find a different way forward. The Belfast Good Friday Agreement was a big step at the time. This is a big step we're asking people to take. And what we've done today is publish a command paper outlining the 3 core principles behind this and what we can deliver, and just want to engage with people in the weeks ahead around that.
Yeah, so what would you say to the family member we interviewed this afternoon who said that your announcement was obscene and abhorrent to our ears, and then went on to say that it sounds like the sole purpose of the legislation is to cover up state crimes?
Well, I do understand why people who have lost loved ones or been injured themselves are victims of this. And let's not forget, a lot of our own veterans are victims from the Troubles as well, or are close to victims of the Troubles. This is something that works across society. And we've got to be very honest with people about the reality of where we are. We're seeing consistently, just this year alone, cases failing to be able to be prosecutable because of the period of time that has passed. And yet that, in one case, 11 years since there was a finding of some culpability, 11 years of a process that failed both the veterans and it failed the victim's family. That isn't good for society. That isn't getting to accountability for people because those cases are collapsing. We want to find a way that really does help families get information, get understanding and truth and accountability.
OK, Brandon Lewis, appreciate your time. Thanks very much.